These are my 10 top tips for travelling to the Maldives, 10 things that you really need to know before you travel here.
Ellie Sax. Go!
Tip number 1, it's warm and sunny. It normally sits around 28 to 29 degrees centigrade, but it feels more like mid-30s. So make sure you're packing really light fabrics, linens, breathable fabrics. Make sure you pack your swimsuits and your bikinis because the weather is amazing for dipping into the sea. The sea's around 25 degrees centigrade, so it's an absolutely amazing place to go out on the beach and swim and get a bit of a suntan. So make sure you pack light, easy clothing. Tip number 2, if you're travelling to the north of the Maldives, then you're usually transferring via seaplane. The seaplanes only fly in daylight hours, so if you're booking your international flight, try and book one that's going to land before about 3 p.m-ish. If you're landing much later than 3 p.m, you may have to wait in Malé overnight so that you can get your seaplane transferred the next day. We were talking to some of the staff here and they are looking at getting a domestic airport, another domestic airport in the north of the Maldives. There are currently 3 and they're looking at building a 4th. That would mean that you could land in the evening and get a domestic transfer, but at the moment there aren't that many domestic transfers to the north of the Maldives, so try and land before 3 p.m so that you can get a seaplane transfer. Tip number 3, pick a resort for your holiday needs. It's surprising how big a range there is of resorts in the Maldives. There's around 200 resorts, so if you've got a family or if you like to do lots of activities like water sports and diving, really look into which one's going to be better for you. Harry and I love to relax, so we love to go to places that have slightly less families and where we can just enjoy beautiful beaches. So really look into what you want to do on your holiday and which resorts offer you the best for that. Tip number 4, make sure you pack plenty of sunscreen. It is really close to the equator here, so the sunshine is really strong, so you do burn nice and easily, especially if you're as pale as me. So make sure that you're packing plenty of sunscreen and plenty of swimsuits to get that tan topped up. Tip number 5, while we're on the subject of what to pack, make sure you guys are packing all of your toiletries. The islands are absolutely beautiful, and actually once you're here you don't want for anything, but each resort is on its own island, so if you have a specific toiletry you need to use, make sure you bring it with you. For example, we forgot hairspray, so we're going to have interesting hair towards the end of our holiday. They do have little shops in most of the resorts where you can pick up the necessities, but if you have some things that aren't necessarily necessities for other people, you might want to make sure you pack them. Tip number 6, the currency out here is Maldivian rupiah, but most resorts take US dollars, so check that in advance, but bring along some US dollars with you for that. Tip number 7, although you won't need much cash when you're here, most of the resorts run on a cashless system, so as you're ordering and eating and drinking, then you just put the tab on your room and you pay at the end. You will want to bring a little bit of cash, US dollars out here for tips at the end of the stay, to tip somebody who's really made your holiday special or to tip your room attendant. We always make sure we have a few dollars to bring for tips. Tip number 8, there's some amazing marine life around the Maldives. It's absolutely incredible. There's lots of species, dolphins, whale sharks, manta rays, and most resorts will offer a snorkeling trip if they don't have their own coral reef. So make sure you check out all the snorkeling tips and make sure you bring along your swimwear and you go and check out the marine life. Tip number 9, the Maldives are extremely protective over their sea life, quite rightly, so make sure you don't feed the fish. It's actually illegal in the Maldives to feed the fish as it upsets the ecosystem. It's also illegal to take the shells home because the hermit crabs use them when they upgrade their shells as they grow. So don't feed the fish and don't take the shells home with you. Tip number 10, the final tip, the Maldives is a Muslim country, so make sure you don't pack with you any religious things like Bibles or alcohol. You can't bring alcohol into the country. There is alcohol at the resorts that you can buy, so don't worry, you will be able to enjoy a cocktail on the beach, but just make sure you don't bring it with you. So anyway, enjoy the Maldives. It's an incredible place to have a holiday, and if you've got any questions, pop it in the comments.